Hey guys, what's up? It's Wolf Airsoft Gaming, and today I'm going to go over some quick options for the PDR-C battery. So all the batteries I'm going to be talking about are with the extended grip. I'm going to pull up the actual internal battery compartment measurements that I measured. I made some mock-up models of some batteries and a lot of them didn't work. This is extremely tricky to find one for. So the actual battery dimensions are 104 by 24 by 20. Any bigger than that, it's not gonna work. So it is a bit cramped in there for obvious reasons. This battery right here will not fit. So the 11 ones are a lot harder to find one for. These 7 4s, I got a perfect example of a great battery right here. This is it's a 7.4 volt 1825C milliamp battery, so this puts out whatever 1.8 by 25 is. It should be like 40 amps or something like that, which is a ton of amps. When you won't, it depends what you're doing. I'm doing a 390 FPS build that shoots about 30 to 40 rounds per second. So my amperage is probably going to be in the mid 20s, I'm hoping, if I get everything efficient. Total parts build, I'm going to do a video when all the parts come in. I just finished ordering them. It will be an SSG with an M140 short stroked, obviously. So I should be able to get that 390 feet per second, short stroke it maybe like 4 or 5 teeth or something like that to shorten the cycle a lot. We got 13:1 gears and a Lonex A2. And then of course I'm going to have the battery that I was going to buy. None of them fit, so I'm actually using one that does fit that I have on hand that I use for some of my other AEGs, which is this. This was actually for the Scorpion Evo. It's an ASG 1300 milliamp 11.1 volt 3-cell battery with a 20C discharge. So this gives me 26 amps, which should supply enough amperage for that at 11.1 volts. So this is as big as you're going to get as far as a battery. How I actually did this is they go in like that. The wire feeds up. This is going to be changed to Dean's since the MOSFET will also be wired to Dean's. So you'll actually put the battery in backwards and you should have enough. I'm going to try to get the Dean's connector to come out. Just connect it there so you don't have to take the upper receiver off and do that. The MOSFET is going to sit right here between going into the pistol grip and the wires going to the gearbox. And I already retrofitted this to make sure that the clearances for both push rods that go on either side are clear. If you have a battery that's too big or the wiring extends into this area too much, below the barrel assembly that's right there, these 2 push rods will be affected, which means you won't be able to pull the trigger and you won't be able to hit the magazine release. So when you're doing that, make sure that both the mag release, which is the assembly on the shooter's right hand side, versus the trigger one that is on the shooter's left hand side, both of those have to be clear and can't be obstructed. So there's maybe a millimeter of clearance between the butt of this battery and those rods. If you're looking for a 7.4, very easy. You can get one that has higher milliamps. This is way more than you would ever need from a 7.4. So this one works. 11 ones, again, a bit more tricky. Something like this will also work. You'll probably end up with an 11.1 that's anywhere between 15 to 20C and 1000 to 1200 milliamps. I know BOL makes a 15C 1400 milliamp 11.1 that will fit this. From what I've heard, the actual wiring is BOL, and this was designed to fit that specific battery. I'm not getting it because it's only 15C, so it's like 20, or probably 20 amps of power, something like that. It's in the high 10s, low 20s, so I don't even think it would put out 20 amps. But if you're having a normal AEG build, you shouldn't draw any more than 20, so that would work just fine. Again, amps versus volts. If you have high amps, that means that your motor is going to be taking up a lot. If you don't have enough amps in your battery to supply what the AEG needs, then it'll decrease rate of fire and performance in general. If you have one with too many amps, that just means that there's some left over. But there is a good medium between the two. DSG builds usually utilize high amp, high voltage builds just because they take a lot. Since this one is kind of also like that, I needed something that had amps. You can also decrease your amps by increasing efficiency of your motor or motor wiring. One other thing I'm forgetting, but if you shim properly, there's less resistance on the whole drivetrain, and if you have lower FPS, that's also going to decrease the amount of amps required for your gearbox. But yeah, so kind of on a ramble there. I've spent so many hours looking for a battery that would fit. Turns out it's in my own home, so I don't have to buy them either. So hopefully this video kind of helped. Don't really worry about 7.4s, you'll be fine with almost anything. Again, use the measurements that I gave you as far as millimeters for height, width, and length. So that does it for this video of Wolf Airsoft Gaming. Future videos are going to be about the internal upgrade parts. Might even do a build series about actually putting the components inside the gearbox. Wiring up the MOSFET inside here, which is a simple, I don't think it has active braking. I'm hoping that it doesn't, because I shouldn't need that. But yeah, so videos in the future all about that. This thing is going to be an absolute beast, and it's so thin, it's so light, and it's so small, and it will outperform almost every rifle on the field once this is done. So it should be spitting out I'll be using .30s. FPS should clock in at 390 with 2s. It's flat hopped, good quality barrel, and then of course the high RPS and almost instant trigger response for CQB. So I'll let you guys know how the project goes and update you along the way. Hopefully this just informed everyone a bit more about the battery space and what's able to be held within the PDR-C. Another option is you can always 3D print a battery box or get a PEC box and put it up there and run the wires through there. So hope you guys enjoyed the video or learned something. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.